everybody. Welcome to the Witching Hour. Oh my gosh, we have an episode straight from the stars for you today. He is my dear friend. You may have seen him here once before, but he is literally one of the most sought after celebrity astrologers in the entire world. You've seen him, his cosmic insights everywhere, from People Magazine to Entertainment Tonight, Cosmopolitan, Access Holiday, even TMZ and beyond. Welcome, dear friend Kyle Thomas. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Goddess, for having me. It is an honor to chat again.
I know you were one of my favorite people. We met through a neighbor, a mutual friend years ago, and I just see your name and I get all giddy.
Likewise, I mean, it's definitely it's mutual, so I love that.
Mutual Admiration Society. So again, you have become the go-to astrologer of the world. I think more than anything else. Was that in the stars? Was that in your plan? How did this come about?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting because I feel like, obviously we live, with the energy of our natal charts, and we are always, hopefully on the pursuit of fulfillment and, on the path of our destiny. And I've had a few different careers prior and, pivoted and, they all sort of, you know, came together in this beautiful synchronicity in what I do in the media as a celebrity astrologer. And, again, I feel like it was like the stars chose me. And back when, my career in astrology really launched, I could see that there were going to be all of these different transitions and evolutions taking place and, you know, blasting my career and my life into new directions. And so that's when it all happened. And I courageously jumped, and I'm so grateful that I did, and I'm so grateful to do what I do and connect with people all over the world.
And you do, you really do, and your astrology is always so inspiring and easy to understand. Sometimes I'll read astrology, it's like, "What? And and what?" So how did you always know you had a gift of reading the stars, or how did your interest in astrology start at a young age, or
Yeah, well, I have been involved or studying astrology for about 30 years now. And so it's been, very ingrained in my celestial DNA. And I was born psychic and able to tap into, spiritual frequencies. And I wouldn't, consider myself as psychic as like other, per- you
I
know,
would.
you
I
know,
would, but okay.
psychics, but I certainly have a very heightened level compared to, I think, the average individual. And it's because I'm so in touch with, myself and the universe. And what I love to do is to really tap into that whenever I am working with a client or a celebrity or a publication. And at the end of the day, I want to empower people and enlighten people and just bring more beauty and light to the world. And I think that's what's been really helpful in advancing my career because I think that people need hope and they need guidance. And again, I'm so passionate about what I do and so grateful to do what I do. So, I really seek to bring that magic to other people, no matter where they are in their lives and in the world. And I think you do that as well in your craft.
Thank you. Yes, and you actually do as well. And again, you would have done my chart before, and
Yeah.
your intuition is almost as big as a part, your psychic ability, you're tuning into spirit, as what the stars and planets are. Now, astrology we know has been popular for time after time through history. People would go to the stars, go to their astrologers. But now it seems even more so, whether it's the media or what. Is it just because times are scary and people are more scared that they wanna know what's going on?
Well, I mean, we can see many different factors that are really making astrology more of a pop culture item. And in astrology, in astrology, in the Zodiac, Aquarius actually rules this particular theme and in the industry and the advancement of this particular, art form. in a sense. And there's been a lot of very powerful Aquarian energy that we've been having. We had the great conjunction in Aquarius a couple years ago, which is setting up, several hundred-year pattern, and we also have Pluto in Aquarius right now. So again, we've had a lot of transits of Aquarius, which is bringing more of it to the forefront of our lives. But I do also think that, as people are moving away from traditional religion to a degree, I think people are looking for answers not only within themselves and about themselves, but in understanding other people and events in the world. So, yeah, it's going to be a long-term trend, and I'm grateful to be here and really investing my life and my career and into it. And I always find that there's something new that you can learn, and I always say that astrology is an art form. So, that's why I just think that there's so much beauty in the tapestry of exploring it.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. Now you really are a celebrity astrologer. You work with celebrities as well. Do and I know since we both live in Hollywood, I know
Yep.
lots and lots of celebrities. They're just like us in so many ways.
Yeah.
Do a lot of them actually look to the stars, look for your guidance, and I should do this here now, and I should do this now? Is that as well as corporate executives as
Yeah.
well as celebrities? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it really depends on, like, what they're looking for, and I treat each individual that I'm working with, regardless if they're a celebrity or not, as a human being. And it's ultimately, at the end of the day, the fact that we all want similar things. We all want love, we all want
Mhm.
success, we all want prosperity, we want health. And by looking at their chart, we can understand the kinds of cycles that they're going through. So, again, it really depends on, if I'm having a meeting with them and helping them strategize the launch of an album or a project for the year ahead, or meeting with their management and discussing these kinds of things, or really looking for more predictive qualities of my work and integrating that into their lives. And one of the things that I also talk about with astrology is that in my sort of definitions of what I've kind of brought it into a core understanding is that astrology is predictive. We can understand that there are certain cycles that are going to bring certain things to our lives, which is why we go to a horoscope for each day or week or year.
Right.
Whereas it's also productive, which is what I try to teach people too, is that by using the cosmic energy and seeing where it is moving through the heavens, we can hopefully maximize that potential to take actions at the right times, plant intentions, plant seeds, and that's how we can manifest more of fulfillment, hopefully, in each area of our lives.
I love that. So looking at now that's both looking at our individual astrology, "Oh, I'm a Libra, I'm a this, I'm a
Yeah,
that," and then what's going on in the world as well. Like, we are now
yeah.
in early April 2026. It's been a little chaotic year so far. Is that what did you see that coming in the stars, and what do we have to look forward to or beyond?
Certainly. Well, it's really interesting because at the beginning of the year, I was on ABC News Live talking about the year to come. And I think each and every year, as we sort of reflect at the end and enter into the new one, we are always wondering, like, is the next year going to be a good year?
Yeah.
And in reality, there really is no such thing as a purely perfect good year and a purely awful year. There's always, I think, it's kind of like looking at like light and shadow, the sunrise in the day and then the sunset in the night. And so this is because we can see that there are different planetary placements that are always taking place, or the planets are moving in different orbits, and activating particular energies. And so i- it's been really, really up and down, in particular in the first half of the 2020s. And the interesting thing about the second half of the 2020s, which we are now in, is that the energies are going to feel very different than the first half. It's sort of kind of like split down the middle. And this is because we have a lot of outer planets which rule the human collective and major transformations in our lives that are moving into new corners of the sky. And we can see this with Saturn and Neptune in Aries, as well as Uranus moving into Gemini. And Pluto obviously has been in Aquarius since 2023. So these powerful planets, these archetypal energies of the consciousness and universe are moving into fire and air signs,
Mm.
which is going to speed life up even more significantly than we already have experienced, with technology and social media and everything taking such a major uh, attention in our lives. But it's yes, we have many particular transits and movements of the planets that can be challenging this year and into the years ahead. But I also feel like it's like I really try to focus on how we can use them in productive and healthy and empowering means rather than getting sucked into the fear and anxiety of change. And ultimately, I really think about this all the time. Even when we have hardship or challenges, the universe is never trying to punish us. No one is, cursed. We aren't, punished and destroyed by the weight of the universe in order to bring us down and bring darkness. I ultimately think that the universe is here to teach us and to guide us and hopefully and enrich our lives, sometimes through pain.
Mhm.
And by understanding where these particular planets or alignments are taking place in our chart, as well as in the sky, we can see the karmic lessons that are important to us. So, for instance, my chart in general has been showing that there's been a lot of emphasis on certain particular themes, and they keep popping up. And so, the key is to face them and to understand them and work through those lessons so that I don't repeat negative cycles or I evolve and change my behavior and patterns to again, hopefully be more enriched and empowered and invigorated. And again, I can see it in the heaven for, the world's change and
Yeah.
transformation and evolution. And sometimes you need to burn down what is not working and then see the shadow side of, the world in order for really profound, deep, beautiful change to happen. So, yeah, I mean, challenges are here and they will
Yeah.
continue to be here in the years ahead, but it is not the end of the world. There are a lot of transits that we are experiencing that do have ties to wars of the past. Multiple, planetary placements are speaking of that. But again, I don't want to focus on you know, predicting wars when war is always ever present. It's a part of humanity.
It is.
And and that's why again, I think that we look at this, we learn from this, and if humanity, we all play a role in this. If we are able to really find ways and solutions by learning from the past, we can build a better future. So that's what I really try to think about when we receive bad news on social media or we're seeing really sad and painful things taking place on a global scale. I really it's hard, but Saturn's and cycles and patterns repeats. So
Right.
yeah,
No, and I agree. Even in witchcraft, it's like and the universe will keep giving you the lesson until you learn it, even if that means hitting you on your head. And
yeah,
I'm sure a lot of things so far, us as a whole people, we haven't listened very well.
yeah,
So we're getting hit in the head.
yeah. I mean, what do you see coming forward? I mean, which
I
kinds of
I
energies
think
and
too. I think again. I've used many of the same word into kind of a shadow time, a time of having to go inward and look at things. Um, Again, people are doing more shadow work. People are what is really important now? What is really important? Yes, that is Willow saying hello in the background. My producer Rob just put that up. There's noises going off everywhere. It's a noisy world in 2026. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I don't know astrology. It just where we're going as
Mhm.
humanity. And I think we need the shifts. So if you had a headline or what thing to be conscious of, again, each of us, you're going to work your chart, your chart, your chart, do this. But if we had a whole as where the planet is right
Mhm.
now, is there like a headline or is there something we should focus on? Is it that individual growth or
I think that in particular, because Saturn and Neptune are in Aries. Aries
what does that mean?
rules, yeah, the power of Saturn and the power of Neptune both moving through this zodiac sign. Aries is the sign of the ego. It is the leader. It is the passion, the desire to pursue independence and create our destinies and really conquest. However, Aries also rules war. So because we are having the karmic lessons around conflict and the struggle of ego, I think one of the things that we need to do is we have to master that and empower leaders and empower ourselves to be leaders who are filled with light and are making the world a better place. And again, moving to, Pluto and Aquarius, which is here for roughly about a 20-year transit, it is talking about how we must build communities and work together to ultimately find solutions and build more of a structure that I think im brings equality and an understanding to the difference of people and the uniqueness that we all bring as well. So that's why again, with these particular personalized, socially focused energies, we're seeing that that particular uh attention to both the ego and communities on a world scale. And that's going to be really important to, I think, finding a sense of hope and creating new, whether it's governments and political or social movements that are going to endure and really leave an impact.
It's beautiful. I have faith in us. We can
I
I
do too. I
I do
do
too.
too.
I have
Yeah.
the eternal we are survivors, we are all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Now other than getting into a whole world, um, okay, again, I work with science, you work with parents. The one thing that so many people are looking for is love. We know
Oh,
is
of course.
is that great love. That's what they come. So is there a way, like astrologically, is there something we should look at different other than each this is your sign, this is your sign? Is this we're in different kinds of planets? And it scares me
Yes.
when I hear you say it's a 200-year cycle or a 20-year. I'm used to like this week or the next 12 hours, like 200 years, 20 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, it's all about cycles. And we're seeing that because of the movement of the planets and they're all on their own time and really moving at the pace of the celestial rhythm and symphony. And yeah, there are really rare cycles that are taking place. And we can again reference what happened in the past, but specifically when we're actually talking about love, I am really excited to talk about this too because we are about to enter into one of the best cycles for love, especially for singles in a
Yay.
12-year cycle. And that begins this summer, which is not that far away, guys.
No.
And it's going to start when Jupiter, which is the planet of luck and good fortune and expansion, moves into Leo and is going to be there from June 30th of 2026 until July 26th of 2027. So it's
Mhm.
a little bit over a year. And in astrology and in the zodiac, Leo rules passion and romance and courtship and true love and the love that we give. And that's why, if you are single, it's truly one of the best periods on a global scale to find new suitors, to find someone that ignites a fire in your soul and really live with that exhilarating adrenaline and passion. But couples can also enjoy this too because they can use it to harness more fun together, more sensuality and sex together, and more adventure. And so, yeah, it's really auspicious. I'm very excited about it, and I think life should feel a little bit more fun and vibrant when Jupiter does go into Leo. Now, prior to that, Jupiter is in Cancer, and Jupiter is very strong in Cancer. So, if someone is aligned, a past life connection romantically can come, during this period in time.
Hmm.
But also Jupiter, or I'm sorry, Cancer rules the domestic life and home and family. So family may take a little bit more of a collective focus in particular until the end of June. So again, when we're looking at mundane astrology, which is the movements and transits of the collective, we can see that these themes are usually present in our lives. But then obviously it is important to reference Venus and all sorts of Mars, etc., in the individual chart. Oh, one thing I do also want to say too, though,
Yes.
is that for this year, is that we are entering a period that I like to call the vortex of the past. And this begins in particular around September, October of this year. And we're going to have multiple planets that are moving backwards in the sky. So a retrograde is what it's called. It's an optical illusion from our perspective on Earth because of the movements of the planets. We can see at times that planets seem to dance backwards. And during these times, we revisit and review situations and relationships and decisions from the past. Well, we are going to have Venus retrograde this autumn. And this takes place from, I believe it's October 3rd until November 13th. But we're going to feel it leak in earlier in the year, in particular, like I said, in September. And the energy is also going to echo into the end of the year. And so this is on one hand, it's an excellent time to connect with old friends, old lovers, reignite a connection, bring someone back if you still hold a flame for someone. But it also can bring past life connections back. So it's I do I don't know if this happens to you, but I do get a lot of questions about exes, from different clients, and they want to know, will this person come back or will they have another chance? I think ultimately, when an ex leaves your life, it is more rarer than not that someone really does come back and reintegrate themselves, and unless they've done the work on themselves and both partners have really grown and evaluated, then I think those connections can really be reignited on a truly long-term level. But otherwise, I find that these Venus retrograde cycles do bring up important karmic lessons that we need to face, review, like looking in a mirror when it comes to our relationship. So, yeah,
Okay.
I think those are the big things that I want to talk about when it comes to love for
Okay, so
the
that's good.
year.
Whether love you're looking for or love you have or
Yes.
ex-love, I think that's fascinating. So what about, like money or abundant career stuff this year? How is that? Is there an overall affecting with that? Is it a wealth year, not a wealth year, a struggle year?
I mean, I think in general, when it comes to looking at the celestial weather, the cosmic weather, the astro weather, the I feel like we have a lot of great opportunities to launch endeavors in particular until essentially, the end of September. So I'm encouraging everyone to sign their big contracts, launch their big endeavors, make their strategic moves prior to that time. Now, earlier in the year, we did have a Mercury retrograde. We're fading out of that, so we don't have to worry about that. We will have a Mercury retrograde from, I believe it's July 29th or I'm sorry, June 29th until July 23rd. So it's right around that time. So that's not a great time to launch things, but in general, I feel like we have a lot of beautiful cosmic alignments, like the planets are in harmony. So yeah, I think that this can be a big year to make progress, certainly in a
Okay.
professional way. It's not one of the best years in a major cycle for it, but if you are an artist, if you are a creative, if you are invested in any of those particular industries, design or, performance or any of these kinds of things, once Jupiter goes into Leo, that blossoms. So artists are really, like I said, very lucky at that time in any realm of art form. So yeah, I think that it's though that we'll see that certainly become more prominent. Also with Uranus going into Gemini until 2033, there will be more advancement and change and evolution around technology, social media, the travel industries, what else? I mean, everything to do with, communications related industries. So, again, if you are involved in those particular industries, you are going to see a lot of change, but the ups and downs, I think, are going to push us in new, innovative directions. So the more that you can try to break ground and think outside of the box, I think that that's going to really help you.
Okay. I could feel that. I like that. Now it's funny you talked about Mercury retrograde. This last one hit me hard. I actually had to do a magic spell to counteract
Uh,
the effects I was getting from it. So even people who don't know anything about astrology, don't know anything about planets, they hear and the word Mercury retrograde puts fear into the masses. Is that the strongest thing we get, or is that just something we all focus on and know, or because it's a backwards thing?
I mean, Mercury is really tied to our daily affairs and our thoughts and our minds, which is why it's so ever present when it does move backwards in the heavens. And that's why I also think that, we can see technology breakdown or communication breakdown, and it's just very noticeable. It's so close to us, and but it's not the end of the world. I really try to look at what we can learn from every single astrological aspect or movement of the planets so that we can hopefully work with the energy in a conducive way. So again, when we have Mercury retrograde, slow down, revisit projects and situations from the past. And by doing that, you are not working against the grain, and it's okay to slow down. I think that's one of the biggest things that Mercury retrograde can show us is that we live in such a fast-paced world. We want everything now, and we expect it now. And sometimes we run so quickly forward that we miss the details or we leave something before it actually is complete. And then we need to take some steps back and review and reflect and revise and go with the flow. It's like with the ocean. You gotta sail and move with the ocean because if you fight it, it will overpower you. It's like the
Yeah.
wind. It's like all of the elements and we can learn from aligning with the universe rather than trying to fight it.
Right. Because I'm not a fighter, I'm a lover. So I we want put the sails up and go use the wind for you.
Yeah.
So have you ever like looked at somebody's chart and go, oh, of course you're famous, or of course you're a billionaire, or of course you struggle. Is that right there in the stars and you see that's what it is?
Yes. So we all have a natal chart. A natal chart is created by looking at your date, time, and place of birth. And so you can input that and look it into an app or, some sort of website to get a breakdown. And the natal chart is what I call our celestial DNA. And it is very important in understanding not only aspects of our personalities and who we are, but important patterns that we experience in our lifetimes. Now, when it comes to obviously understanding that framework, that skeleton of who we are, we can learn a lot about ourselves and how we interact and the decisions that we're likely to make. But not everything is predetermined. This is just sort of like I said, like the skeleton, the framework. And the thing that I think is really important to note is that we have free will. And so by understanding our patterns and by understanding our behaviors and looking at that, we can make more informed decisions about our lives. And yes, there are certain charts that are like, oh, of course you're famous. Of course you're wealthy. Of course you've been blessed in these ways or have talents in these ways, or openings in these ways. In the same way that you can look at, oh, wow, I can see that this person struggles with certain themes or relationships or career or finances. But again, all of the planets exist in every single natal chart, whether that's for a person, relationships have natal charts, nations have natal charts, a business has a natal chart. So we can see that all of the energies are being represented at all times. But beyond that, I think it's important to see how, because my ultimate definition of astrology is that astrology is the study, research, and understanding of the flow of energy.
Yeah.
And so we can see that how the planets are moving each year, it's going to pour that energy not only into the world, but into your specific natal chart at different given times. So that's how, again, we go back to what I was saying before. We can see that this is a more fantastic year for this individual, or this is an area of challenges and they need to work through that. But yeah, it's really fascinating because there are certain patterns again when you are looking at celebrities or business executives or creatives or I mean anyone. There are things that repeat. Jupiter may be in a really beautiful position and the degrees of their chart are all really spectacularly aligned. But the one thing I will say too is that I have looked at some charts. And because again, going back to the fact that we have free will, someone may have the most wonderful chart, but like let's say they're born in Hollywood and they're sort of like a nepo baby. Nothing wrong with that. But they may have a chart that's really exalted and brought opportunities for success, but they don't harness it because they've been given so many things already. And then there are certain people that have some of the most crunchy and challenging charts that work through that and work, and it just drives them to get as far as possible and they rise from nothing into greatness. So again, it really comes down to the will and
Yeah.
and the ability to work with that celestial DNA and choose our destiny as well.
I love that, and that's exactly what I do in the craft in witchcraft, how we could change fate sometimes, can't always, and we change that is
Yeah.
beautiful. So, okay, so you're saying countries that does the United States, do we have a astrological sign? What are
Yes. So, I mean, the obviously the birth date of the United States is
70,
July 4th. So it's
we're a Cancer?
sun. Yeah, it's a can we're a Cancer sun. But the interesting thing about it is that there are multiple different particular uh, there's disagreements about when the official rising sign occurred. So some people are saying that the United States is a Sagittarius rising, whereas some people say it's a Scorpio rising. Where it it's really interesting to sort of break down the differences between how that looks. And of course, you can look at when there are like Los Angeles. Los Angeles was born during Virgo season. So Los Angeles is actually a Virgo sun. But I think the last time I looked at the chart of Los Angeles, it was a Leo rising, which is
Mm,
again, I think why it ties it to like entertainment. I'd have to relook at that. So don't quote me exactly on that.
okay.
But I believe that is where it is. But like for instance, uh, Los Angeles has been having some very challenging astrological energies over the last couple of years of opposition and frustration and weakness. Yet, one of the things that I love about the energy that's moving forward for Los Angeles is that over the coming years, suddenly, like, fame and expansion and good luck is all going to come to Los Angeles over the coming years. And it's really also really interesting because that's when the Olympics are taking place. All of these really big events are taking place. And literally, like, Jupiter is at the crown of the chart, like igniting Los Angeles. So the people of Los Angeles will love it. The people that come to Los Angeles will love Los Angeles. But yeah, I mean, it's just so fascinating. You can go down the rabbit hole on literally anything. I mean, even relationships. It's I
Like
just
by
love it.
when you met and things. That's
Yeah.
fascinating to me. So I could we could talk for days. So okay, is there a okay, just like rapid fire kind of thing. Is there a most psychic sign or most intuitive sign that you would guess one more than the other or a couple?
Typically, we draw intuition and empathy and psychic ability more closely related to water signs. And that would be Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. I would certainly say that with Pisces ruling the 12th house and being ruled by Neptune, anyone with strong Pisces placements or Pisces energy can be one of the most intuitive and psychic signs. But again, I mean, for instance, my chart, I have certain activations in my chart that reveal the power of spirituality or intuition in my chart. But I don't have any Pisces in my chart.
Okay,
I
interesting.
mean, I have
So
we all have all of the zodiac signs in our charts because the whole sky is in our tapestry, but I don't have any like planets in Pisces.
specific.
But yeah. So, but I would say probably strong Pisces energy. And hold on, let me
One.
look at your chart for a second. I was gonna like yeah, you have Mars in Pisces. Your North Node is in Scorpio. Yeah, your North Node. So the North Node represents ultimate destiny. It's in your sector of psychic ability and spirituality.
That's amazing to me how it's in the star. Okay,
Yeah.
is there a most glamorous sign or signs?
We would probably associate that more with Leo. Leo is ruled by the sun, which is radiance and celebrity. So people with strong Leo placements tend to be more drawn to the spotlight. It's I wouldn't necessarily say it's always the most famous sign because I think that it depends on the movement of the planets and which signs are more favored at given periods in time. But Leo certainly, is the
The glamour.
yeah, the glamour, the royalty in that regard. Yeah.
Okay, well, okay, is there a a misunderstood sign or signs?
Yeah, I would definitely say Gemini and Scorpio are probably the most misunderstood signs. And I mean, I love Geminis, I love Scorpios, and they do get a bad rep, but again, it's because I don't think people understand the depth of what they bring and, the duality in a sense that they both exhibit. Like, Geminis here, they're the twins, and so, they have 2 sides to them, and that can with them being an air sign ruled by Mercury, they can be, very social and communicative and, really brilliant. But also because, Mercury is a little bit of a trickster planet, they do have sometimes a reputation of, you know, well, using communication and ideas to kind of get what they want, which isn't a bad thing at all. But yeah, I think, people can find that that is a little bit unnerving if they've been hurt by a Gemini. But also Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto. And Pluto is the planet of the underworld and subconscious and rebirth and transformation. And Scorpios are just they're so deep. There's so much emotion there. But the lowest vibration of Scorpio is the Scorpion because it's all about, you know, attack or defense or or, intensity. But Scorpio actually has 3 archetypes. We have the scorpion, we have the phoenix, and then we have the eagle. So, if a Scorpio has evolved and learned from the lessons of trauma that have occurred to them, they can be one of the most enlightened individuals around.
Beautiful. I love so we all have our strong suits and we all have our challenges and we all have everything. Now before we go, I'm going to get a little bit more wisdom before you go. I thought I would turn the tables just a little
Okay.
and do I know nothing about astrology, as you know. It's too many numbers for you. I don't know, but I thought I would do a little baby tarot reading on you if you would.
Oh, cute. Yeah, I
Okay.
would love to. Yeah.
All right. I just what I see for you, again, not knowing anything about the planets, and you can see if how they align or not align. I see it is a super big expansion year for you, Kyle. Oh, you are spreading your wings hugely. And it's all from the heart. Just almost like what you have said. It is all heart based. And you know that they're figuring out that we actually have thinking cells in our human heart, like science.
Oh,
And
wow.
when our heart tells us to do something, it's not even going to be influenced by our logical left brain or intuitive brain by that. So again, you keep following your heart, and that creativity is going to take you so many places. This solid, more solid than you ever been. And this is who I am, and this is what I do, and this is where I'm going. But yet still creating with that expansion. Ending up in financial, this is a really good money year for you where it's going. You just have to really, really remember to take care of yourself.
Totally.
You
And
will.
that really relates. I mean, one of the things that I was thinking about at the beginning of the year is I was like, I need to protect my peace, and I need to focus on physical and mental health because I want to be as strong in myself as possible. And I think the world can be very scary at times, and trying to find boundaries to people or situations or things that are not working for my ultimate happiness and fulfillment has been something that I'm, just trying to keep as a priority. But thank you. I love that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the year ahead, and
Yeah,
I'm very hopeful and I'm very confident that it will bring blessing.
it is. Super success in every which way and so expanded more than you even think is what I'm getting, what it is. And again, and I understand that having to pull some boundaries and take care of yourself because when you do what you do, what I do, different things, but that same,
Yeah,
that empowerment, helping people and people just want it and need it so badly. We have to
yeah,
take care of ourselves first. We really do.
100%.
But this is gonna be such a year and a fun year for you.
Oh, I love
Really
it.
allow yourself crank up the fun to 11.
Yeah,
It
no, I
it's
I will
time.
try.
All right. So, if before we go, tell everybody where they can. I'm going to ask the last words of wisdom too, but before, tell everybody where they can find you if they want a private session with you, where they can find some of your public stuff, your website, your social media. Everybody wants to find Kyle Thomas.
Oh, thank you. Well, my website is kylethomasastrology.com. I have a ton of resources on there. I have monthly horoscopes. I have all sorts of insight on the Zodiac, so definitely check that out. However, one of my favorite communities that I'm really focusing upon is my Patreon. So it's patreon.com/Kyle Thomas Astrology. And by signing up there, you get access to a ton of exclusive content and horoscopes and daily horoscopes and, you know, tips on manifestation and working with the universe. So that's really amazing, especially because I can work, one-on-one with people. If you are looking for a personal reading, you can contact me via my contact page on my website, again, kylethomasastrology.com. My main place of operating on social media is on Instagram. So it's at Mr. So Mr. Kyle Thomas, MrKylethomas. And I certainly, I do have a very busy schedule, but I'm also always taking on new client readings. So feel free to reach out and I would love to connect with you.
Yeah. You guys like him, follow him. His posts are amazing, informative, and really helpful. He puts up astrological stuff. So I just love you so much. I can't wait.
Oh,
So
likewise.
Any final words of wisdom for everybody to my beautiful witching hour audience for the day?
I would say protect your peace and bring more peace to the world.
Amen. Thank you. Words of wisdom indeed. Thank you, Kyle Thomas. Amazing astrologer. Thank you for bringing your magic to the witching.